how did you work on these aspects with the director, and how did you ensure they aligned tonally with also Luca's characters?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Was that clarity something you intended since you started writing, since you have that idea since the beginning, or it was something that was like more developed throughout the production?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question.
There have been two moments in my life when I was happiest. First was the day I met Josh.
I'm Josh.
I'm Iris. And the second, the day I killed him.
Megan, Harvey, Lucas, how are you? Thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
Hi,
Good.
we're good. How are
you?
you?
Drew, how are you? Thanks for taking the time to talk with me. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.
Jack, Sophie, how are you? Thanks for taking the time to talk with me. First of all, congratulations on this amazing movie.
Thank you so much.
I talked with Lucas some minutes ago, and he told me something that resonated with me, that it was like the robots had a more humanness than
Oh,
the actual
absolutely.
humans.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you, Jack, you have a way of layering your performances, not only in this movie, but in general, that makes me watch you on a screen like a constant puzzle. There's always like something internally going on. So I think it's such a remarkable quality as an actor. So is this process something you do it personally, or you are used to like work with the directors and then just like establish the way you approach your characters?
It's a bit of both. Drew wrote such an incredible script, and then when I found out he was going to be directing the movie as well, I was like, okay, whatever this guy wants, I will do.
Yeah.
He is a genius, and I really believe that about Drew. I cannot wait to see what he does next.
I know.
Like, what is he's going to do
I'm
so
like,
much.
cast me again.
No, please, sir. May I have some more? With Josh, it was a mixture. I work a lot with backstory. It's like a meditative process where I like close my eyes and like try to see his life in little snippets as he goes. And no, Josh, I think also I try to, that is kind of a complicated process, but then I try to, and I really found it in this movie, I'm gonna do this forever now. If I can then whittle that down, that complicated process, to like a phrase or something that's really simple, I will try to. And I think what I eventually wound up with Josh was, Josh is a person who has never really heard the words, "I love you." And I think that motivates everything he does. He's the most insecure character I've ever played. And that's how I've also found empathy for him as well, because he's pretty despicable. And you have to have an empathy while you're playing him, but I'm so happy to be done playing him so I can say, screw Josh, he sucks. But yeah, that's more or less the process.
It's really entertaining, and also I think it's a really new take and a new spin into the final girl trope. And I think that this film also has something meaningful to say about abusive relationships. So how did you come up with this idea?
Well, initially it just came from me finding myself at a place in my career where I wasn't getting the job opportunities that I wanted. So I needed to have a writing sample that just reflected my love of genre. I love horror, I love sci-fi, I love thriller. I'm not like a straight down the middle like relationship like story. Like I need a robot, I need a serial killer, I need a ghost or something just to to excite me. And so like Companion came out of just necessity. I just needed to sit down and write something that reflected my voice. I don't know where the idea came from. It just popped in my head one day. But I'm the story gods were smiling on me and gave me this idea of three couples go to a cabin in the middle of the woods. One of them finds out they're a robot, and things go crazy from there. And from that moment forward, I was like, okay, this is take this and run with it, because it's that never happens to me where an idea just kind of comes to me fully baked.
And also these films look like it was really fun to shoot. So since you are no strangers to the genre, I'd like to know, does the experience change when you are working on a horror film? Does it get more funny?
I think you add elements like, hot summer and shooting in the forest with ticks. Those are fun. Yeah, little things, it just spices things up. Every horror film is different, but I can't speak for everyone. But like when you add ticks to the situation, if you're crawling around in leaves, it makes it a little more terrifying.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that and just say I think the overall experience of filming this genre is, typical, but I think this entire cast really made that experience of being in the hot summer with these ticks and fleas and mosquito sprays made it all worth it, and it was just so easy to work with these guys, and so it was mostly fun. It kind of felt like we were at summer camp.
That's
almost.
what I felt like. We worked
Right?
in
Yeah,
your
literally.
cabins,
Yeah.
Literally.
There's been a lot of talks recently about like the new voices in horror, like Zach Greger, who is also like the producer in this film. And I love that you establish in this movie a voice of your own. So I wanted to explore more about like your history with the genre. What are your like favorite horror movies, and do you have plans to keep working in the genre?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the whole you know, the conceiving of the idea and like the sitting down to write it came from me just like realizing like, oh my gosh, like this is my fault. Like I don't have a writing sample that represents the kinds of movies that I like, because I love, you know, Sixth Sense and The Shining, and like there's so many moments in my life that where I've just been inspired by Silence of the Lambs, like is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I was a fool for never ever trying to like, you know, dip my toes in it. It's so great, and it's such a great time, you know, with like Jordan Peele and Zach Crager and these interesting like lower budget movies like Strange Darling. It feels like a really like renaissance for horror right now.
Your portrayal of Iris, I think, is truly impressive. I love how the version of Iris you've developed includes so many subtle details about her being a robot. So how did you work on these aspects with the director, and how did you ensure they aligned tonally with also Lucas' characters?
Yeah, it's interesting because me and Lucas never really had any conversations about that, but then watching it, I was like, they did kind of match and strange. I think there's an eeriness to them without, you can't think about it too much, but it's about focusing on the physicality, and I think I'm used to being very loose in my acting and my movement, but I found myself much more still in this, and I think my voice was a lot more controlled. It was, yeah, there was like a smoothness to my voice that I didn't always have, where I just, it reads differently than characters that I've done before. But I think it was just about finding those simple physicalities and remaining really still, which is really hard as an actor for me.
I think that the process was just working with Drew Hancock and having him play with levels with us. I think that the beauty of this film is that some of the robotic characters are more human than the human characters. So I think there was a lot of freedom with that, and I didn't feel like anyone was restrained by it.
These films, I think, drives straight in and gives you like all the information you need. Like, even though it has like its twists and everything, you have like kind of like all the information dive in. Was that clarity something you intended since you started writing, since you have that idea since the beginning, or it was something that was like more developed throughout the production?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. The clarity that you're talking about, that just is, you know, that comes from a place of let's lure the audience into a place of comfort by introducing characters that are very like, you know, seemingly one-dimensional, like characters that you've seen in a billion movies, and then the fun of the movie will be like kind of peeling that back and realizing, oh no, like these like every single one of these characters is actually not how they were presented. They're kind of hiding behind their own masks, and the fun will be like presenting it like it's just a traditional horror movie, and then when, you know, like the shit hits the fan, it's like, let's put the pedal to the metal and let's just try everything, and all like the genres are, you know, bending and twisting and swerving, and yeah, hopefully, like, you know, it doesn't feel like whiplash. Hopefully it just feels like a fun ride.
Harvey, you both also, I think, do an amazing job grounding this world with characters which Lucas said are real, but they are also imperfect. What is like to come across a script that let you play with that humanity of those characters?
I think for Eli, like, I like the idea that, you know, we live in a world not so far in the future that people get tired of dating apps and they could just easily order a companion, and the idea that sometimes you accept the love you think you deserve. So for my character, it was kind of like, you know, without giving too much away, it was the relationship that we had together where even at its core, hearing your partner say that they truly love you and genuinely are there for you, and you still don't feel comfortable accepting it. So that for me was a nice layer to play, because I think a lot of people feel that way and they can relate to that. So I was like, oh, so talking to the director and like talking about the character was something that we really wanted to, like, even though I bring the comedy into the idea of this world, it's the comedy, but there's this really like sweetheart, you know, softness to him. So I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
I love you.
Even after filming this movie, how open are you to embracing new technologies?
I mean, you saw the movie. And I mean, I
Yes.
think the movie tells you just about how far maybe we shouldn't or maybe should go with technology. So I'll leave that answer up into the ether.
I feel like I can't say too much because I feel
I
like
know,
there's so
No.
many,
That's
there's so
right.
many
Oh,
twists
shoot.
in this movie
Yes.
that like it's
Yes. So thank you very much, Harvey, Megan, Lucas. You are amazing. You're super cute, you three. So thank you very much. Have an amazing day.
Oh,
You're
thank
cute.
you.
You're
Muchas
cute.
gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Muy guapo.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
Are you breaking up with me?
It's not you. It's me.